After 5 MotoGP sprint races, it is fair to say that they have been a fairly successful addition to the Grand Prix weekend. We've seen magical performances from Brad Binder, great overtakes, and more Ducati dominance from Pecco Bagnaia and Jorge Martin. But is it more the track than the actual sprint format? Let's take a closer look. Portimao was the first race of the season, and naturally, everyone was excited for the new sprint race format, and it was a pretty good race to watch. A last lap overtake for the lead between Bagnaia and Martin, plus Marc Marquez getting 3rd place. A solid race, but it was nothing spectacular. A 7.9 out of 10. Argentina for me has been the best sprint race of the season so far. It was so good. Why? Brad f***ing Binder, that is why. He went from 15th to 1st. Unbelievable. But the nature of the Chermas circuit allows for plenty of overtakes to happen more frequently, and especially in the final 2 sectors. The weather conditions certainly helped as it was overcast, plus it was raining for most of that weekend, so watching the riders have to go out there and find grip when there wasn't really any was very fun to see. So this race for me gets an 8.9 out of 10. The Circuit of Americas, COTA. A tricky circuit, but with no Marc Marquez and Enea Bastianini this year, the chances of a good sprint race were very high. But we didn't really get it. Again, Pecco Bagnaia took the win, and he made it look very easy. COTA really isn't an overtaking circuit, as it is very one line through certain sectors. Also, as it takes MotoGP bikes roughly around 2 minutes to complete a lap of the circuit, it didn't really feel like a sprint. For me, the main Grand Prix was actually better, so the sprint race gets a 6.8 out of 10. Jerez, the Spanish Grand Prix. Again, Brad Binder did his thing and won. It was a solid sprint race as Jack Miller got involved along with Bagnaia and Martin, and it felt like I was actually watching a sprint race this time. The pace was red hot in Jerez, plus the overtaking spots make the racing so much better. And it was also good to see Dani Pedrosa setting the fastest lap of the race, so that instantly makes everyone happy. 8.4 out of 10. A solid race. Then the last sprint race that we had, the French Grand Prix, the Bugatti circuit at Le Mans. It is a track that when you look at it on paper, it should be perfect for the sprint, but it didn't really deliver like the full Grand Prix did. Jorge Martin went to the front, and that was it for the win. He had that in his pocket. Brad Binder went from 10th to 2nd, which was cool, but the real talking point was the battle between Marc Marquez and Pecco Bagnaia. That was pretty tasty. It was hard but fair racing, and it got people excited for the prospect of more happening in the full Grand Prix. And that is the key thing about sprint races. They give you a flavour and then leave you wanting more in the main event. So for Le Mans, I think it was a solid race, 8.2 out of 10, but the Grand Prix was actually better, and I think that is the model that MotoGP need to have. If you create some talking points on the Saturday, it will then filter through to the Sunday. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, make sure to subscribe, and we will see you next time.